Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I'm Lipakshi Khurana. Here are the top stories we're tracking for you on Monday, the 14th of November. Indian Prime Minister Modi embarks on Indonesia visit to attend G20 Summit. Imran Khan predicts bankruptcy for Pakistan, says debt piling up, no cash to repay loans. And Sri Lanka announces budget aimed at clinching IMF deal, sees recovery by end 2023. And now for all the details. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Monday arrived in Indonesia for a three-day visit to attend the 17th G20 Leaders Summit in Bali. The conference is crucial as India will be handed over the presidency of the G20 for a one-year period during the closing ceremony of the summit.
Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Monday embarked on a three-day visit to Indonesia's Bali to attend the 17th G20 Group of 20 Countries Leaders Summit. This G20 summit is particularly special because India will be handed over the presidency of the G20 for a one-year period starting December 1. In a statement, PM Modi said on the sidelines of the G20 summit, he will meet with leaders of several other participating countries and review the progress in India's bilateral relations with them and on key issues such as reviving global growth, food and energy security, environment, health, and digital transformation. India's G20 presidency will be grounded in the theme Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam, or One Earth, One Family, One Future, which underlines the message of equitable growth and a shared future for all.
India has a lot to offer to the world to face the current challenges. Whatever progress India makes for itself, it always projects it for the entire world. It has been demonstrated in the past, and India will do this under its own presidency.
The Bali summit, slated for November 15 to 16, comprises 3 working sessions at the leaders' level. These include sessions on food and energy security, a session on digital transformation, and a session on health.
And residents of the Indian capital, New Delhi, have lamented there has been no improvement in the pollution situation and they are compelled to breathe toxic air. The air quality index in several areas in the city showed a reading above 200, which is considered unhealthy.
Residents in India's capital, New Delhi, who are compelled to breathe the city's toxic air, said on Monday that there has been no improvement in the pollution situation in the city. The air quality in several areas in the city showed a reading above 200, posing a risk to the health of residents who were taking in the toxic air. Some commuters were seen wearing masks to lessen the impact of the polluted air they were breathing.
Pollution से काफ़ी दिक्कतें आ रही हैं और डेली रूटीन में भी सांस लेते हुए काफ़ी प्रॉब्लम है. विदाउट मास्क कहीं जा नहीं सकते और मतलब कि गले में काफ़ी दिक्कत आ रही है बेसिकली. और जैसे ही बाहर निकलो तो पहले गला और नाक की चोक होता है बेसिकली वैसे तो, लेकिन कोई सुधार तो है नहीं फिर भी.
पॉल्यूशन की स्थिति सर अभी भी इतनी ख़राब है. मैं अन्य बार बस स्टॉप पर यहाँ पर हूँ, लेकिन बहुत ही ख़राब है. आँखों में भी जलन है, गले में पॉल्यूशन बैठ जाता है तो बड़ी दिक्कत होती है मेरे को.
A thick layer of smog envelops Delhi in winter as cold and heavy air traps construction dust, vehicle emissions and the smoke from crop stubble burning in neighbouring states, causing a surge in respiratory illnesses among its 20 million people. All construction and demolition work except for essential projects is banned in Delhi and the National Capital Region. The curbs were imposed when the air quality was severe in the first week of November.
In news from Pakistan, Pakistan's Opposition PTI party chief Imran Khan has blamed Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif's government for pursuing disastrous economic policies and said that the country is sinking into debt. In a virtual address to supporters, he pointed out that a fresh election is the only solution.
Pakistan's former Prime Minister and PTI party chief Imran Khan on Sunday accused the ruling coalition government of pursuing disastrous economic policies and said that the country is sinking into debt while the income is falling. Khan, virtually addressing his supporters, said that PM Shehbaz Sharif-led government is not conducting the polls as they are afraid of defeat at the hands of PTI and will not be able to save their corruption and looted money. He also said that the incumbent rulers have never appointed any top officials on merit to ensure that their looted money is saved at all costs.
वो बढ़ते जा रहे हैं और इस हुकूमत ने आके 3 महीने में वो कर्जा लिया है जो हमने 9 महीने में लिया था। उस 3 महीने में उससे ज्यादा कर्जा लिया है जो 9 महीने में हमने लिया था। तो कर्जे बढ़ते जा रहे हैं, उनके ऊपर सूद भी देना है और जो आमदनी जिससे कर्जे वापस करने हैं वो कम होती जा रही है। तो मुल्क का तो दिवालिया निकलना है।
Khan's PTI party on Thursday resumed its long march towards Islamabad from Punjab province a week after he was shot in his leg in an assassination attempt. The march is part of Khan's efforts to galvanize support against his removal from office in a no-confidence motion in April. The political tension comes as Pakistan is currently in the midst of an unprecedented economic crisis as it grapples with mounting inflation, sky-high foreign debt, and declining foreign currency reserves. The turmoil has been exacerbated by recent flooding that the government estimates caused economic losses worth $30 billion.
Moving on, residents across Gilgit Baltistan have condemned the arson attack on a girls' school in the Diamer district last week, which they have blamed on the terrorist. In a similar incident in 2018, 12 girls' schools were bombed and burnt down in Diamer, where Taliban-linked militants opposed to girls' education are active.
Locals across Gilgit Baltistan have expressed shock and demanded action over the recent arson attack on a girls' school in Diamer district, which they have blamed on terrorists. Several protests have been held since the past week when the incident happened, and rights groups have raised concern over repeated attempts by extremist elements to derail development in the illegally occupied region. Locals have urged the government to ensure right to education and end to patronization of extremists.
3 दफा इस तरह के वाक़यात हुए, ये कोई नया वाक़या नहीं है, लेकिन अब के बाद जो तब्दीली यहाँ पे देखने को मिली, लोगों ने एहतजाज किया, मज़ामत की, मुज़ाहिरा किया और दियामर के लोग अब तालीम चाहते हैं, अमन चाहते हैं और यहाँ अपने बच्चों के हाथों में कलम और कापी और बस्ता देना चाहते हैं। अब यहाँ के लोग बदल चुके हैं। हुकूमतों से यही गुजारिश है कि जो स्कूल जलाए गए हैं उसके मुहर्रिकात को सामने लाएं। कुछ मुश्तबा अफराद गिरफ्तार हो चुके हैं, लेकिन असल मुजरिमों तक पहुँचा जाए जो तालीम दुश्मन है।
Though local authorities have said restoration work on the burnt school is underway, this incident is not the first one. In 2018, 12 girls' schools were bombed and burned down in Diamer, where Taliban-linked militants opposed to girls' education are active. Pakistani Taliban and allied Islamist militants regard girls' education as anti-Islam.
And in news from Sri Lanka, Sri Lanka pledged to boost tax revenues and reduce the budget deficit on Monday as President Ranil Wickremesinghe presented the annual budget in the parliament aimed at winning the bailout funds from the International Monetary Fund. Wickremesinghe said the crisis at Sri Lankan economy can turn around by end of 2023 if the new policies are followed.
Sri Lanka's President Ranil Wickremesinghe on Monday pledged to boost tax revenues and reduce the budget deficit as he announced the annual budget, aiming to wean the economy away from populist policies to win bailout funds from the International Monetary Fund. The crisis-hit Sri Lankan economy can turn around by end of 2023 if the budget policies are followed, Wickremesinghe said. IMF recommendations have only been looked at to stabilize the economy, he told the parliament. Wickremesinghe said the government plans to reduce debt to less than 100% of GDP over the medium term and achieving economic growth of 7%. Public revenue is expected to rise to 15% of GDP by 2025 from 8% currently. The government targets revenue of $9.27 billion in 2023, up 63% from the current year, while limiting the increase in spending to 31% year-on-year. The $2.9 billion IMF bailout package agreed earlier this year is key to pulling the nation out of its worst economic crisis in decades. It would also help Colombo secure other lines of funding as it nearly ran out of foreign exchange reserves this year, resulting in a sovereign debt default. Sri Lanka, currently experiencing consumer price growth of 66%, will aim for mid-single-digit inflation in the medium term, Wickremesinghe said.
Well, the Organization of Islamic Countries opened its mission in the Afghan capital Kabul on Sunday with an aim to coordinate and deliver humanitarian aid to the war-torn country. No country has so far recognized the Taliban's regime in Afghanistan, and multiple sanctions have hampered banking, business and development.
The Organization of Islamic Countries, OIC, opened its new office of its mission in Afghan capital Kabul on Sunday with the ceremony attended by senior Taliban officials, representatives of OIC, UN and other international organizations. Taliban's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Amir Khan Muttaqi, said the OIC office would be effective in political cooperation in addition to economic and humanitarian support. Tariq Ali Bakheet, OIC Secretary General's Special Envoy for Afghanistan, said that the fully activated mission is poised to assume an effective role in the delivery of humanitarian and development aid of the OIC. The Taliban seized control of Afghanistan last August, and since then the country is facing a looming economic meltdown and humanitarian catastrophe. While UN and the international community have raised concern over persistent abuse of human rights, including those of women, girls and minorities. No country has so far recognized the Taliban's regime in Afghanistan over these issues. The country's assets have remained frozen due to sanctions that have severely hampered banking, businesses and development, leading to greater insecurity, poverty and isolation.
And an event was organized in India's western Pune city this past weekend where animal lovers celebrated their love for their four-legged friends. Around 2,500 dogs and 300 cats along with their owners participated in different activities held during the event, including a fashion show and a cat show. Take a look.
A pet gala event was organized in India's western Pune city on Sunday, where animal lovers came together to celebrate the love for their four-legged friends by participating in different activities, including a fashion show and a cat show. Around 2,500 dogs and 300 cats, along with their owners, took part in the event, according to the organizers. Wearing colorful collars, different breeds of dogs, including Cocker Spaniel, Beagle and Labrador, were among others, who flaunted their catwalk skills as they walked the ramp with their owners.
We have dogs and cats. We also have adoption happening here at a big level. For dogs, it's a get-together where people will come around. There will be activities across the day. Okay, there is an agility zone where you can touch know the intelligence and obedience of your dog. It's also great to have a bond with your dog. Then we have activities happening on the stage. We are making sure that the sound levels and the decibel level are maintained so that our dogs are patient and they don't get a problem with the sound. And also we are having a championship cat show.
Visitors, which included children, attended the pet show and spent quality time with the dogs and the cats. As per the organizers, this type of event happened for the first time in the city.
Well, that's the way it was in South Asia this evening. Before we conclude, the top stories once again. Indian Prime Minister Modi embarks on Indonesia visit to attend G20 Summit. Imran Khan predicts bankruptcy for Pakistan, says debt piling up, no cash to repay loans. And Sri Lanka announces budget aimed at clinching IMF deal, sees recovery by end 2023. Now our viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNewsline.com. You can also visit us on Facebook.com/SAsiaNewsline and follow us on Twitter @SAsiaNewsline. That's all in tonight's edition. We'll see you same time tomorrow. Good night.